Right now, tough transitions. I've been there and I know exactly how it feels. In this video, I'm going to share the exact steps I took during my unemployment to protect my peace and exactly how those steps set me up for my dream role. I'm Dr. Erin Wheeler. I'm a leadership coach, a cognitive psychology expert, and a high achiever who ultimately burned out. I was physically depleted and emotionally exhausted, even when I was doing all the right things. What helped me recover? A mix of science, self awareness, and sisterhood. If you're new here, this space is where science meets real life, where we talk about well being, energy, identity, and impact without all the fluff. If you've ever wondered if it's possible to lead with power and protect your peace, yes, it is. And we'll do it together. Drop down and hit the subscribe to stay connected. Let me paint the picture for you. It's 2018. I'm in my consulting and exploring period, i.e., unemployment. Part of my consulting exploring was writing and doing fun things. And so, about 9 months into it, I felt compelled to tell the story while I was unemployed about how I'm keeping my sanity. So I did. I wrote it with anticipation or expectation that one of the neat, new, fancy Black blogs would publish it. It didn't. It didn't get published. But I posted it anyway because my friends and colleagues encouraged me that it could help someone. Fast forward 7 years today, I'm reading headline upon headline about how 300,000 Black women are unemployed, and it broke my heart. So I'm revisiting that, and I'm going to add what that blog didn't have is the outcome of what happened after what happened after that was my first unemployment period. Actually, I had a second, which I'm kind of in. You'll hear more about that. But here are the 5 core strategies that I talked about in that blog, and I'll actually give you a bonus and what happened after. So here's my first strategy, and ultimately the primary strategy to keep me sane through my employment. Strategy number 1: focus on the source and not the resource. I'm a church girl to my heart. I'm not ashamed to say. However, during this time, it could have taken me out, but I chose to dig in deep. So I chose to focus on the source and not the resource. Regardless of what faith or what you practice, you have to have some measure of faith. You have to find some higher power outside of yourself to anchor yourself. And so my faith was my anchor. I did prayer confessions. This was the time that I actually had discipline, enough discipline to do prayer and read scripture. And this came with volunteering more of my time and my services to my church. And this helped me to stay grounded and anchored, and my primary reason for staying sane. Even with the low bank account, my needs were met. I'm not going to say I was happy 100% of the time. I'll scratch that. Joy is what I had because joy is unconditional. Was I happy every day? No, but all my needs were met. And this was something so critical to my sanity and my peace at that time. It was such a good time. Even though my bank account was low and it got real low, negative low, my needs were met and I was blessed. So focus on the source and not the resource. How you have to have faith and anchored in something outside of yourself and away from the reality of the world. And even today and the years after that, that foundation has kept me steady. Core strategy number 2: find productive distractions. I know you are maybe tempted to go and look at job search sites and LinkedIn and making phone calls every day during the week. It may feel like you're productive, but it will do nothing for your peace. For me, it was the opposite. I could not handle submitting my resume another time, knowing that it's going to unmonitored email bots. I just couldn't do it. So I limited my job search to just 1 day per week. 1 day. And this wasn't even a whole day. I gave myself the morning, sent out some things, and that was it. The rest of my time, I dedicated that to building up the resume. Sometimes we miss the part where you actually do the real work. It's the networking, it's the building yourself up, it's to hearing different perspectives, it's to falling in love with the things that you are doing. And so that is what I did. I'm not the career coach to tell you to keep refining your resume, to keep doing these. That is not me, right? So when my clients come to me for career advice, I give them life advice that just so happens to help them in their career. I'm giving the same advice to you. So what did I do with the rest of my time? Which is a lot of time. So I focused on me. I focused on the dreams. You know, those dreams that you had sitting at your desk and looking at other people do the things that you want to do. One day I'll write the book, or oh, I wish I had time to mentor or to volunteer or to do this or to do that. That's what I did. Exactly what I did. I have made a life list of the things that I wanted to do. I actually started back on my list when I thought I was just going to completely quit my job before my first bout of unemployment. I actually took a break to take the job to do that. And so I went back to my original list. What was on that original list? It was to write my first book, which I did. It was to start my summer camp in my rural hometown, which I did. It was to spend time with loved ones and help them and just be at peace, not looking at the clock, not checking my calendar. Those side projects were the one thing that my next employer picked up on. And even the things that I talked about in interviews along the way, those were things that made me interested, carried the conversation, and held weight in my interview. And actually, that was a huge reason I landed my dream role. Core strategy number 3, practice gratitude. Practicing gratitude is another thing that helped keep my sanity and gave me peace during unemployment. I gave daily thanks. Of course, in the first strategy, I told you prayer was a big one. But even just the minimalist living kept me from spiraling when opportunities were slow. I was just thankful that I had a place to lay my head. I was thankful that I had family. I was thankful that I had hope. I was thankful for any other smaller opportunities that allowed me to put money in my pocket. I was thankful for the break. Sometimes we rush to get back, especially if you were leaving or asked to leave a toxic environment. Sometimes we're so anxious to get back to work that we are not grateful for the time we get to breathe and go back in a much healthier state and go back to a much healthier place, a safer place than our previous employer. So practice gratitude. It will do wonders for your mental health and just helping to ground you in where you are. And even looking at other people who may be in similar spots, who may not have as many opportunities and blessings that you have. That daily thanks and minimalism that I lived kept me from spiraling when opportunities were slow. I was super thankful for a roof. I was super thankful for family and friends who wrapped their arms around me. A lot of people don't have that. And so I was really thankful that it could have been worse. And if you ever think it's worse, there's always worse. There's always going to be someone worse off than you. And so I know that sometimes it's terrible to think about, but it's true. So practicing gratitude, writing it down, journaling, just spending time in now, not thinking future forward, not future tripping, just spending time in now can help you get through tough times. Core strategy number 4, I focus on others. I supported my other friends in their endeavors. I had a line sister who was a runner, and so I went to her race in another state. My dad and my mom, who had just retired, were opening up their own businesses. So I had the privilege of helping them open up their business and help them. I just was so grateful that I had the time to help because again, that was one of the things we always say, oh, I'm so busy. I wish I could. But then when we actually have the time, that's actually when you can tell if you really meant that. But that was one of the things that kept me, again, a productive distraction. But it was part of that gratitude, is part of the grounding. It was just part of just being grateful to be here, breathing, alive, in my health, and having the ability to help others, really, that was the emotional work that I needed to do. It wasn't me sitting at home, but it was helping others. And I truly believe that even that time that I supported others, that came back to me more times than I could even imagine. All in all, helping others reminded me of the value and leadership I had to offer. Core strategy number 5, make self-care a priority. You may feel tempted to scale down, scale back, cut it off, and you may have to financially. My challenge to you is don't take self care off the table. You still need to take care of yourself. You may have to just find creative ways to do it. And so for me, it was movement, it was small monthly treats. At this point in time in my employment, I did have time to go see that $5 movie on a Tuesday at 10 o'clock a.m. That brought all the joy and made it worth it. Because think about it, when you're working, you have to do everything around your schedule. This time, you actually get to do things on your schedule and find those opportunities. I took a nap at 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 3, guilt free, right? I went to go see my nephews and hung out with them and bought them cupcakes that my sister didn't want me to give them, right? Those were part of my self-care. It was the soul care as well. The thing that when I look back over it and I realize why this core strategy worked for me, even though I didn't know the outcome. When the right role found me, I had the energy to say yes. I had the physical energy, I had the emotional energy. I took care of both my soul and my physical self. And so make self-care a priority. And you may be challenged. Find joy in the challenge, actually. Will help you. Find joy in the challenge to find things in your budget. Find things that's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, but that you really enjoy. Once you take the money off the table, there's so many things that are available that bring you joy. So those are the 5 core strategies. As promised, I'm giving you a bonus tip. I'm not even sure why the bonus tip was not in the top 5 when I wrote the original blog, but here it is. My bonus tip for preserving my sanity during unemployment was to get a coach, right? Unemployment can be lonely. You may even have friends or colleagues in your same boat, but you need an outside voice. And so for me, I got a coach. I knew at that time, you might feel you can't risk the money. However, I had met my coach before and I actually heard his strategies and work. And I said, hey, this is the perfect time to get one, especially as I was already looking. I was left an executive role, my first executive role, and I knew I needed to level up to stay in the executive leadership game. And so my coach helped me reframe my whole strategy. While I told you in strategy 2 of how I did not like to do LinkedIn and send in resumes, that I, on my own, had stopped looking at LinkedIn, but he actually reaffirmed that that was the right thing to do. And so that was super helpful because I really did feel guilty, like I wasn't helping myself. You understand where I'm coming from. My coach helped me to position my talents and stop settling. So when I stepped off that hamster wheel and leveled up my profile, guess what, y'all? Recruiter came looking for me. And that was the biggest blessing that I could ever see from my time. Doing it in a way that honored what I needed and doing it sustainably actually had a great outcome. So at the time that I wrote the blog, it was encouragement to others. It was what I was doing, but I did not have an outcome to say if they worked for me. So in this video, you actually get the other side of that, what the readers did not get. So from those side projects, from my core strategy number 2, those productive distractions, those were interview goals. I went from a junior admin to a CEO level role with flexibility, challenge, alignment to my passions. So doing what I wanted to do helped me to level up to get the role that I wanted, which was a dream role, right? As this video comes to a close, I want to encourage you that your in-between season is your training ground for your next chapter. If you're in transition, I love to help you turn it into a launch pad. Book a free clarity call. We'll map your strengths, package your experience and position you for roles that you actually want. The link's in the description. And while you're at it, download the Culture Fit Interview Kit to choose environments that protect your energy.